Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Let's Play Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. We return to Granite Grant, our gargoyle monk originally, following Shabriados, who's turned into this sort of hybrid, spellcasty, bashy, I don't know, something. I am looking this over, and I am not really sure where we're gonna go from here. I think what I was planning on last time was doing Elf 3. Yeah, Elf 3 sounds about right. Yeah. I think we were having some trouble in the vaults with damage. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Saint Roka was on Elf 2. We haven't even cleared out Elf 2 yet. That actually makes it a lot easier, I think, because it means we don't have to deal with a whole ton of the higher potency elves, like annihilators and the I forget what the archer ones are called. Maybe just archers. I don't know. Some of the really rough ones. And we do have deflect missiles. Yeah, pretty reasonably castable. Out of the danger zone, at least. Although I think we had a couple of miscasts last time. Anyway, yeah, let's sort of head that way. I don't think we do have to do any stash maintenance here. We seem to be reasonably well set up. Yeah. Now that we have this Wand of Healing, we are going to want to drink our potions of heal wounds first. Oh, this little buckler of poison resistance. So worthless. We're immune to poison. Okay. Alright. I do recall, because I made a note of it, looking up the level 9 earth and ice spells. The level 9 ice spell is called Glaciate, not, I don't know, Super Freeze or whatever I was saying it was. And it's pretty cool. It's a cone-shaped effect, which is fine, but it slows and has a chance to freeze anything that it affects. It's very powerful. It's a good change. Oh, that's right, this abysmal robe. Oh, I was so mad. I found this cool-looking artifact robe, and I mean, just look at it. It's a -5 robe that prevents you from casting spells, contaminates you heavily with magic when you take it off. That's where we got a mutation that we had to cure with a Cure Mute potion. It gives you teleportitis, so you randomly teleport. -4 evasion, -2 strength, -2 dexterity, -2 intelligence, double minus stealth, and it recurses itself sometimes when you equip it. The Robe of Misfortune. That has to be an unrand art, a non-random artifact. Ring of Hunger. Yeah, we found a lot of cool stuff with this character, a reasonable amount of cool stuff. We also had some pretty tough breaks early on in the game. Okay, yeah, so yeah, down here, Saint Roka. He's a big bad orc. He's like an orc warlord, except he can also smite you, which is, I don't know, pretty rough. I seem to recall that we found, I don't know, it was a long time ago when I started this character. We found an altar to Chabriados fairly early, so we were reasonably strong when we got here, but I don't think we really had much of a grasp on spellcasting yet. I think we were still just using stone skin, and that was about it. So I can see why we ran away. I'm pretty sure I would not have been able to kill Saint Roka at the time. We definitely can now. It still may be a difficult fight depending on how many meat shields he has. Ooh, a potion of beneficial mutation. We already have this one arguably beneficial mutation. I think it's beneficial. It made all of our spells about 3% harder to cast, or it increased our spell failure rate by about 3%, but it increased our spell power by a bunch. Let's go ahead and drink it. I mean, now's as good a time as any. Nasty taste in our mouth. We can spit poison. That's okay, I guess. What is it? Tea, looks like? Can't really tell. My recording thing is in the way. L? Yeah, that's it. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same range as Iron Shot. That's disappointing. I was hoping that it would be longer range than that. Louise. Who's Louise? A mighty sorceress, clad from head to toe in heavy armor. Well, then how's she casting spells? Humph. Oh, that's right. She gets lost in the abyss for ages. And she went bonkers. Stone Arrow, Sting, Blink, Lightning Bolt, Banishment. Banishment is the thing we have to worry about there. Although I believe we're strong enough to survive the abyss now. And Chabriados makes the abyss a little bit easier. Not as much easier as Luganu, but... Okay, let's get some dudes. Or a dude, sure. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Getting into Stone Arrow range. Blat. Louise down. Ooh. Oh, it's just a regular large shield? Huh. We'll hang on to that until we get to a point where we have another Scroll of Remove Curse and check it out. It looks cool. It looks different from the standard large shield art, and it may just be because Louise was carrying it around, but I'm hoping that that suggests that it is slightly enchanted. This is one of those awkward situations where stepping back is a little bit annoying. Stepping forward is probably worse. We'll step back. Like, stepping forward, we would be able to close that door and make him reach us before he regained line of sight. But we would have to endure 2 rounds of attacks, and there might be other critters there. This way, we can just do that. The sort of regular strength elves, the elves that you find on 1 and 2, are not particularly a problem for us. The worst that they will be able to do is burn some of our scrolls or freeze some of our potions. I mean, I really can't imagine them hurting us beyond that, even in moderately large numbers. Okay. All right, so there's Saint Roka, about where we expected. I mean, within spitting distance of where we first found him. A mighty warlord. Some orcs even say he's the chosen one of Bo. It's really fun fighting Saint Roka as a hill orc, like a hill orc priest or something. You get to duke it out. I don't know if you can convert Saint Roka or not. I do want to, at some point, try out the hill orc bow thing. It's sort of like a super summoner, kinda. You convert orcs to follow you, and then they can level up and become like actually more powerful orcs. Like, it'll level up from a regular orc to a warrior to a knight to a, I guess, warlord. But I don't think you can convert Saint Roka. I get the feeling like you cannot. I don't know why we picked up that Ring of Hunger. That seems silly that that's on auto pickup. Why don't we turn that off? We certainly don't care about that. Or Rings of Flight, for that matter. Or Rings of Invisibility. Yeah, we don't care about most of the rings that we've already found. Okay. Alright, sorry about that little brief interlude. I was mostly just sort of mulling over how we wanted to go about this fight. There is something to be said for backing up a step to there, because it would break line of sight with Saint Roka for until he reached sort of around this area, maybe. That might be worth it. We'd still have three spots where things can attack us. It would. The problem is we would take a few attacks. I mean, 2 turns is pretty rough. So we would potentially be smitten by the priest and Saint Roka twice. I mean, that's worst case scenarios. They both smite us twice. I don't think that can kill us. I think that's a maximum of. Well, it would be reasonable to anticipate that doing no more than 90 damage at the most, which we could survive. And we have this Wand of Healing to make up for it, and we have a bunch of spells, etc., etc. That being said, there's probably a better way to deal with this situation. I'm more and more I'm regretting not memorizing Airstrike. I don't know that I want to go back and memorize it now, but having a smite targeted ability is just super nice. I do think I'll memorize Haunt at some point. Probably. We'll see. We've got a long ways to go in this game. I want this to be an extended endgame character, so we've got a long way to go still. So let's look at what spells we have. Armor class and evasion do nothing for us as far as smiting goes. Shadow creatures will help. We'll definitely want to use that at some point. I keep forgetting that we have apportation memorized, although I don't believe there have been any instances where we've needed to use it, or where it would have even been helpful. Apportation just is a yoink spell. It grabs an item and drags it to you. Lets you pick things up from a distance, although it's harder to do with runes and the Orb of Zot. Options. We could read the Scroll of Fog, and that would obscure line of sight. Actually, I think the Scroll of Fear is our best bet. Fear drops off in the late game. A lot of things are immune to it. These orcs and that elf priest... Well, the orcs will definitely not be immune to it, except potentially Saint Roka, but I think he might be out of range. I don't know if it's a line of sight thing or not. This elf priest probably won't be immune. The ogre won't be immune. Yeah, let's do that. That'll at least buy us a turn or two. Okay, yeah. So Saint Roka moved... Oh, shucks. I wish I'd paid more attention. He was here. Yeah, he was at the max of our line of sight. So he must have moved... Well, he had to have moved either there or there. I mean, conceivably one of these spaces, but highly unlikely. Because it... Oh, yeah, it could... Actually, it's probably one of these spaces, because it says, I thought he was not frightened, but Saint Roka was indeed frightened by our fearsome visage. Cool. That makes this fight a ton easier. That lets us back up to here, and back up further to here. Yeah, this is a good spot. What was this one? Sorcerer. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're in a good spot now. I think we're actually going to have to eat something, though. I was anticipating being able to chop up some corpses, but that was not the case. Ah, perfect. Saint Roka approached us first. That's going to make this much easier. Just Iron Shot. Ooh, there's an Orc Sorcerer with him, though. That's kind of rough. Let's use this turn while he's killing our ally to set up Phase Shift. He actually didn't manage to kill the summoner there. I suppose we could heal our summoner. That actually seems like a reasonable gambit, although I really don't like using consumables on. Can we cast regeneration on him? I'm okay with casting it on ourselves. Yeah, we can only cast it on ourselves, but that's fine. Okay, we're pretty well set up to fight Saint Roka. Iron Shot hits Saint Roka. Alright, I'm going to save our mana points now and see what hitting him looks like. Yeah, Deep Elf Sorcerer doing some work as a meat shield. Hit Saint Roka, but do no damage. That's kind of what I was afraid of. Yeah. All of our sources of damage are affected by armor class, although I believe Bolt of Magma is a little bit less so. The fire damage wouldn't be affected. Yeah, Bolt of Magma seems to be the way to go here, at least for this particular cast. What happened there? We did kill the Orc Sorcerer. Good. That was part of my desire here. This Ogre can, in theory, deal us damage. By the way, while I was doing research, I promise this is not a pure tangent. While I was doing research in between the last time I recorded and now, I stumbled across guaranteed damage reduction, and I believe in previous videos I had raved about how cool it was. I have to modify those statements somewhat, although it's still very awesome. It only guarantees damage reduction up to 50% of your armor class. It's no more than 50% of your armor class. So our GDR is, I mean, it's 40 some odd, 30 some odd, or 40 some odd percent, because we're a gargoyle, so we get a bonus of the total damage that would be dealt to us by physical melee attacks, up to 19 points of damage, because armor class is 38. So, just a little bit of trivia. It's relevant because Saint Roka is wearing a lot of armor, but so are we. Okay, good. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. Yeah, we ought to be okay. A handy way to tell how effective the brand of your weapon has been is by how many exclamation points follow the message that you have hit them. So we socked Saint Roka with 1 exclamation point. We bludgeoned Saint Roka with 2 exclamation points. So our crushing brand did more damage there. Yeah, easy. Saint Roka ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. That was a lot easier than I expected it to be. It makes me really glad we didn't expend any consumables, because it was clearly not needed. Nothing for us here. Okay, now we can just auto-explore. Cool. Hellfire. Nice. And we'll shoot them just so we get the full experience benefit. Not that it's a huge difference. I mean, we're not going to be getting a lot of experience from these guys anyway, comparatively. We're a lot higher level than we need to be for this part of the game. Which is fine. I mean, I definitely don't mind curb stomping some elves. That's having an easy little stretch to this game does not disappoint me at all. I mean, it's a nice change. Because even though I mean, we're definitely strong. We've encountered some pretty hairy situations and come out on top. Situations that we probably had no right to win, and still done fine. Okay. So yeah, let's go on. Let's proceed to Elf 3. With Elf 3, I always explore all 3 staircases before proceeding even a step further. Just so I know where all of my outs are. Or at least 3 of my outs. There may be escape hatches, etc. Well, just escape hatches, really. See, this is why I'm really glad to have bolts. It's because we can actually hit things hiding behind summoned critters. Though not if they stay that far away. Of course, he's not summoning anything particularly dangerous, so... Ooh, I did not mean to take a step there. We're really not doing any damage to him, though. I mean, we have done no damage to him, as far as I can tell. Where? Bolt of Magma... Not seeing the messages. But we're running out of mana. We are not that much closer to killing this guy. Okay. He foolishly walked into melee range. I guess maybe he ran out of mana or something. Not that we were in any danger there, but that is good to know that Bolt of Magma is not awesome. I'm just really unimpressed with that spell. At some point I'll probably use a Scroll of Amnesia on it. It's just really underwhelming. I mean, I'll work it up to higher spell power, but I don't anticipate it being one of our staples. I'll try and find some other bolt type effect. Here's the bolt. Let's do that. The High Priest will, assuredly come and try and bother us. But 1 High Priest we can deal with. 2 High Priests we can deal with. Shields at level 8, that's good. A little more than halfway there numerically, although we're nowhere near halfway there experience-wise. We'll probably be halfway there at like level 11. Gonna just kind of wait here. I'm actually gonna wait another 100 turns. Okay. For elves to stop coming out of there. The vault in Elf 3, if you have not experienced it before, or if you've seen it briefly and died, is just stuffed with elves. It's wall-to-wall elves. And they're all stronger than any elves that you faced previously. They're all like deep elf annihilators and high priests and stuff. Just really, really strong. Like, we have to be careful. We have to be very careful, even now. I mean, we're going to be fine, presumably, unless we make a mistake. But, what is this? A reasonable scroll shop. Good to know that there's identify. Enchant armor is pretty nice if we find an armor thing that we want to boost up. We might want to do that with this fire dragon armor, actually. We have 1 other scroll of enchant armor. That's it? Wow. Huh. Okay. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I mean, the scrolls of enchant armor / weapon are hard for me to gauge sometimes as to their usefulness, because on one hand, they're relatively limited as a resource. We should drop this Ring of Hunger. Why are we still carrying it? They're relatively limited as a resource, sometimes extremely limited. And so I'm hesitant to just throw them at whatever armor we come across. On the other hand, Fire Dragon armor isn't necessarily the best armor we'll get. It's probably not going to be our endgame armor, presumably. But there's always a chance it will be. It's got good resistances. I mean, 1 pip of negative cold resistance is fine. We can make up for that pretty easily. I mean, it's a net gain of resistances. And it has good armor class for its relatively low encumbrance rating. So basically, our only strict upgrades are going to be to artifacts, but there are a lot of potential side grades, especially since we have weird damage reduction as a gargoyle. I mean, we have like 16 extra armor class. At level 20, at 27, we'll have 20 base armor class. And even with a robe or an animal skin, which normally doesn't give you guaranteed damage reduction, we have like 30% damage reduction or so, guaranteed damage reduction. So it's, we can shift to a more evasion-focused character kind of on a whim. But what kind of armor would be worth switching to that isn't an artifact? And since you can't use enchant scrolls on artifacts, well, yeah. So basically what I'm doing is I'm talking myself into buying these enchant armor scrolls and using them right away. That's really what's going on here. Yeah. I mean, it's an extra couple of points of armor class. If we bump into any slimes, it'll make it less likely that our armor will be corroded. Though next patch, hooray, we don't ever have to worry about that anymore. Corrosion is temporary as of 0.15 in the 0.15 trunk, which I've messed around with a little bit. It seems cool. It seems different. Gargoyles are slightly nerfed, further nerfed rather. They used to have like extra, like they had claws and like sharp teeth, so you got extra melee attacks or something. Or yeah, you got extra melee attacks. It was just bonkers. But they're removing the +1 aptitudes for maces and flails and staves and unarmed combat. It's just down to an aptitude of 0, which, whatever, fine. I'm not even deigning to look at that ring of evasion. There's no way, even if it were a well, maybe if it were a +6. Probably not, though. Like, we have a ring of +5 dexterity that's better for us than a ring of evasion. I think it's just a better, like, on balance, given that we're using a flail, which has at least a reasonable dexterity bonus. I see no reason to get straight up evasion over dexterity. The purple of the corpse means it's mutagenic flesh, so you get a random mutation if you eat it. And, some runs it's fun to play mutation roulette. Just, drink every potion of mutation you find, eat every mutagenic corpse that you find, and just go nuts. See where the dice fall. But this is a pretty serious run, so I don't intend to play that game. Okay, so just to make sure we have explored everything except for... Oh, no, we haven't. Okay, now we have. It's very, very important that you explore the entire level before you enter the vaults. Or, not the vaults, but the vault area of Elf 3. You can place an exclusion, by the way, by pressing X or capital X and then using the E key. The first press will block out an entire area. If you press it again on the same location, it will turn it into a single square, and if you press it a third time, it will remove the exclusion. Very, very useful. Keeps you from auto-exploring somewhere that, well, this exactly. This is the exact scenario where you want to use that to keep you from running into the vaults head first. Wish there was a way we could scout. Let's back up. Summon a guy. And let's just shout and back up. I feel reasonably safe in this corridor. The high priests are the only thing with smite targeting, and even our relatively weak bolt of magma should be able to take care of them, and everything else has to close with us, and we can just beat them up. We're pretty strong. Maybe that was hubris, but I don't think it's definitely not fatal hubris if it's hubris. All right, so we're going to stand here for now, I think. And let's get phase shift going. Ugh. Executioner, huh? It has pain, which is not as bad as torment, but it's still pretty bad. They attack a lot for a lot. They attack frequently for a large amount of damage per hit. That's worth backing out of line of sight. These Blade Masters are another sort of high damage. In fact, let's use this Aura of Abjuration. Yeah. Take that, Summoner. Let's kill this Demonologist. I'm not worried about the Blade Master's ability to damage us. He can't, really. If you are a low armor class character, the Blade Masters are very scary. Because they attack very, very rapidly and they move fast. But if you have over, 30 armor class or so, you're really good against them. I mean, I don't think he dealt us any damage that entire fight. He was wailing on us for a while. I mean, we moved, 2 full steps back in range, or even just 1 full step back. He got a number of attacks off. All right. Man. Couple of lousy shadow summons in a row. Yep. That went about right. This seems to be an easier than normal vault. Maybe we just haven't encountered the meat of it yet, or maybe we're just way stronger than I'm used to being at this point. I don't know. I always err on the side of overestimating Elf 3. It's scary enough to me that Steep Elf Annihilators. Let's see if we can petrify him. No. Okay. I just kind of wanted to use my mana efficiently there. I probably should have saved it, but I didn't want to move. And I don't know. Deep Elf Annihilators could cast Lehudib's Crystal Spear. I think always. Maybe not. Maybe not all of their spellbooks contain it, but Master Archer. Those are the joiks. But we're not really scared of him. I mean, we have deflect missiles, and let's eat an apple. We have deflect missiles and a shield. That's, 19 shielding is not outstanding, but it's enough to block the occasional arrow. And our armor class is actually, I don't know if, I think armor class reduces damage from physical projectiles. I know that guaranteed damage reduction does not affect physical projectiles. Only physical melee attacks. Anyway, I don't think that Master Archer can hurt us. I don't know why I stepped forward there. That was really stupid. Stepping back is less stupid. I mean, just giving line of sight to this whole corridor is real dumb. Let's, I guess, refresh our Aura of Abjuration here. There's this fighter taking pot shots from behind us, so I think I'm going to summon. Did we summon anything successfully? We didn't miscast. Oh. Oh, we abjured our own our own summon. Interesting. Oh yeah, we do have a Deep Elf Mage. Okay, well, He's using a glowing greatsword, which could do some hefty damage to us, but... Oh, maybe we didn't abjure our own summon. I don't know. Not really sure. This Aura of Abjuration is great. It's a relatively new spell in 0.13 or 0.14. It replaced Mass Abjuration, which was like a one-time abjuration effect, a one and done, whereas this persists. It's very cool. Very good upgrade. It's only found, however, in the Grand Grimoire, which you can't even read unless you have 10 summoning skill and I think 6 spellcasting skill. What to do? I really kind of ought to acquire another type of ranged attack for when we run out of mana like this. Really don't want to step forward and give line of sight to the whole corridor. That being said, that guy's wielding a polearm, so we have to move somehow. But I think we're fine. Is that an artifact staff? Yeah, let's pick it up. There is some small chance that we will actually use it. It is a very small chance, but it is conceivably possible. That looks like a bastard sword. A ruined bastard sword. Oh, a warped whip. That we actually very well may use. We'll see how cool it is. Eat our foes. Ichor-stained broadaxe, less likely that we will use that. But we'll pick it up so that our foes don't. Same thing with this bastard sword. Its base damage is high enough that... Yeah, base damage 15. We don't want to be hit with that. I generally pick up artifacts as I find them, but we are obviously in no hurry to identify them. Disc of Storms is something we might consider, although our evocations is not trained at all, so I'm not super inclined to do so. Elf 3 is a great place to find weapons, particularly if you are inclined towards long blades. We did find an artifact ring and several magical rings. What rings have we yet to find? A lot of them. Some of them, though, could be good. Cool. That was a good shadow creature. Mostly based on the location of the summons, not even the strength of the summons. I mostly just wanted something that would attract attention while I ran away. That, you know, stands between me and them. So that I can break line of sight. Although it doesn't look like we'll be able to do that this time. That's magma. That seemed to work all right. Okay, let's check out these annihilators here. Yeah. Lightning bolts, we're not really worried about. We're resistant to electricity. That's the only thing that pierces through. Lehudib's Crystal Spear can do a ton of damage. The player version, at least, caps out at 230 damage at max spell power. Max damage 230 at max spell power. It averages like 115 or something. Absurd. The monster version may be weaker, though. Oftentimes, monster versions of spells are different from... Okay, Sorcerer can banish us, but that's not the worst. It can actually be beneficial to be banished sometimes. If you're in a rough spot, you can sometimes use a trip to the abyss to recuperate. Let's just Iron Shot a few times here. That's our most reliable form of killing things, I think. Certainly at range, it's our most reliable form of killing things. We have Spit Poison now. That's cool. that I didn't anticipate that being very useful, but it has already proven at least mildly useful to us as an additional sort of finish them off ranged attack if we're low on mana. That's nice. You may have seen the breath debuff come up. That just means we can't spit poison again for a minute or use any other type of breath weapon. It's sort of like exhaustion. It only applies to a specific category, a sort of limited number of effects. Yeah, we're pretty strong. Although we should refresh deflect missiles here. Seeing the archer reminded me that we are not, in fact, invincible. There we go. Try and kite back to... Wow. Yeah, a weird runed rod. That's interesting. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Okay. Yeah, Iron Shot is doing well for us. Ugh, this is a lot of demons. Ugh, a lot of damage. There we go. Just trying to power through there. And one way to get ranged enemies to close with you is to use ranged attacks against them. They just sort of assume that you are a mage. Whoa. What the diggity dog? Let's pick that up. Oh man, the first source of sea invisibility that we find we cannot use. You'll notice it's in red. That's because it has that speed brand. Is that gold dragon armor? Holy moly. Let's pick that up. We will not be using the gold dragon armor because we would be completely unable to cast spells beyond level 2 or so, even at very high skill levels. Wow, an artifact sword. A lot of artifacts. I get the feeling, though, that all of these artifacts were in the vault, and these elves have just, made good use of them in their battle against me. Picked them up and dragged them out of there, so we're not actually going to find any treasure in this vault. Let's back up and shout. See if that does the trick. Yep. We're getting to the point, yeah, all of those elves, and we get 1 level in shields. Although it's only getting 25% of our experience, so I really can't complain. Yeah, this incremental training, like until we find a spell, the reason why I'm not just sort of auto-training fire magic here is because it's still possible that we'll find a really strong ice book. Though ice spells are weird. They jump from level 6 to level 9. There are no level 7 or 8 ice magic spells. Which is kind of too bad. I'd like to see some more. I feel like level 7 and 8 are kind of an odd range of spells. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining things. Okay. I meant to cast that priest there, but that is a artifact Morning Star. Venom isn't the best brand, but still fine. What can we drop? How about we eat a chunk of elf flesh, but then let's eat this lychee. Pick that up. Can we pick up this ring? Cool. We're probably close to clear here. Oh dear. Alright. I hate it when bugs get on my screen. I have one of those touch screen laptops. Hello, Mr. Annihilator. Hello, Mr. Death Mage. The Tome of Destruction, that purple thing that you saw that's lying there, is actually really bad. Unless you're following Zom, in which case you're just having fun doing whatever anyway. It's an evocable item that conjures forth several relatively powerful effects, but also has a chance to just do bad things to you. Another artifact bow. Interesting. There we go. A manual, a couple of spell books. But we're just kind of waltz through here because our pack is full. Okay. There is no rune on Elf 3. So if you were hoping to find one, you will be disappointed. But there is plenty of treasure to make up for that lack. I mean, it'll help you get the rune in the vaults. That's basically what Elf 3 is. Though sometimes it's not the best for non-spellcasters. Spellcasters make the most use out of Elf 3, I think. I mean, we found a pretty reasonable number of bashy artifacts here, which we will try out shortly. Cool. Actually, we'll probably just read these scrolls of Identify, since we don't have any scrolls of Remove Curse. Check this out. +5, +7. We will immediately be switching to that. That's amazing. Great. Not a bad quarterstaff, although it's two-handed and we'd have to train it up, so we won't be doing that. Let's check out this whip. The Whip of Pandemonium. Ooh, Vampirism is kind of nice, but its damage is not great. And Resist Poison is obviously useless to us since we're naturally immune. Let's identify some of these rings. Ooh, that could actually be really good. We'd lose a pip of cold resistance, so we'd have to find another source of that. But we would be maxed out on fire resistance, and our fire spells would be boosted. That's a good artifact. We're getting pretty lucky here so far. That not so much. That's a pretty bad ring. We can just drop that. Drop that right off. That would be a fine early game ring for a caster, but we are beyond needing 1 armor class and 3 intelligence. What other artifacts do we have that are unidentified? Oh, we can drop this gold dragon armor now. We're never going to use it. I can say that with some confidence. I mean, even with 27 in every skill, I can't imagine that we'll have any use for it. Okay, Book of Party Tricks is amazing to find early on, and it's still good to find now. We're immediately going to memorize Blink. That I've been looking for a long time. I prioritize that over Orb of Destruction, for sure. It's one of the near mandatory things for one of the near mandatory spells for a follower of Chagritos. Because it lets you move, more than 1 square every 2 turns. It's a little bit random, but worth it. Okay, what else do we have in our inventory here? We can drop some of these things like this. I mean, there's no way that these swords and axes and even this bow are going to be worth our time. Since I think axes... Yeah, axes cross trains, but I mean, it'd still only be a +3. Unless it was an executioner's axe. there's no way that it's going to be. Manual of Stealth. That actually... So what that makes me want to do is this. Focus everything except stealth and just like trickle points into it. I mean, it makes it marginally slower training the other 4 skills that we have going, but we weren't in a hurry to get those to 27 anyway. And the massive bonus that we get from that manual is nice. And it never hurts to have stealth. Stealth is always useful. Guide on the shifting rocks. That looks fun. Stone skin. Ooh, it contains shatter. Good. Excellent. That's something to work towards. Yeah, nowhere near casting it yet. Earth magic only in level 11. We'll probably need to be around level 20 to cast that, is my guess. Can we drop anything? What else is in the book of party tricks? Do we want summon butterflies? That's the only other one that I would consider. Although Tukima's dance is... Yeah, it can't really be used on artifacts, so... Yeah, I don't feel any need to learn that spell. It's a hex. Yeah, we'd have to train that up. Okay, so unless we want summon butterflies, which is useful, kind of. It's super useful early game, but I think we have summoning options that are better. So we can drop the book of party tricks. I mean, it's not like it's going anywhere. And pick up this other book. Book of the Dragon. Sweet. I was hoping I'd find that. Contains Dragon's Call. It's the only place you can find it. Lets you summon dragons. It also contains Bolt of Fire, which is going to be, I think, a strict upgrade to our Bolt of Magma. Probably. Cool. Okay, neat. This was a profitable L3. So what else do we have in our inventory here that's just kicking around? Let's check out this. All right, it's just a +0 large shield. Looked cool. Doesn't do anything. Let's wield this weird. A cursed +7 rod of ignition. Oh, good. We did find some scrolls of remove curse. That's kind of cool. I'm not even sure what a rod of ignition does. I think it's like big bolts of fire or something. Explosive bolt. Yeah. So it's sort of a fireball. That's pretty powerful, actually. I don't know that we'll use it because it requires us switching equipment and whatnot, and I don't know. We may keep it in our inventory. I'm not sure. Not sure. We can put on this robe. Check it out. It's not very good. Drop of 7 armor class in exchange for 3 intelligence and negative accuracy. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop that. I'm trying on various things so that we can ferret out any other curses before we use our scroll of remove curse. Okay. Let's put on a coral ring. How about this encrusted ivory ring? +4 ring of intelligence. We can go ahead and drop that. No. Let's not drop it just yet. Regeneration. Okay, it's good to have one of those lying around. That's it for rings. We discovered the Amulet of Faith. Yes, we have, it seems. Yes, okay, so we're safe. trying on this... We don't have an amulet right now? Weird. Well, let's put this one on. It is going to be really nice when 0.15 rolls out and all jewelry identifies on donning it. Okay, so we've tried all of those things. Let's identify the amulet for sure. Resist corrosion. Not awesome, but, I mean, we didn't have an amulet already, so it's better than nothing. Oh, that's right, because I was going to get this staff. We can't unwield our weapon just yet. I guess we don't have anything else to identify, so let's go ahead and read the scroll of Remove Curse. There we go. And let's use this Morning Star. Because even though in the late game, Crushing is much better than Venom, just so many things are resistant or immune to poison that it's not very good. Just the damage upgrade is going to be really considerable. I mean, here we've got a 20 damage weapon versus a 14 damage weapon. 6 extra damage. Huge difference. I think we will see a great improvement in our bashing ability. We may need to train, we need to train a couple more levels in maces and flails. So let's actually turn off, let's do something like this. Yeah, this seems reasonable. Let's do that, yeah. Yeah, we need to get it up to 16 to reach minimum delay with that, but... oh yeah, let's try these staffs out. Staff of Death, we could definitely drop a Staff of Death. We are not going the Necromancy route for a really long time, if ever. Lich Form is a... This is different from the other staff that look the same. Staff of Energy. I believe that just eliminates Spell Hunger? Oh, and you can channel. Okay. That's worth hanging on to. Oh, yeah. Various other things. Staff of Power, I believe, just enhances your spell power. Oh, no, it gives you more mana. Okay. I won't ditch it just yet. Maybe I will. I don't know. I can see us using the Staff of Energy as a source of channeling. I don't think the extra mana is worth the hassle of switching this around. I don't know. Cursed Staff of Cold. Of course there's another cursed item. Well, that's fine, I suppose. There we go. Staff of Cold we'll hang on to. Okay, we already have a Staff of Fire, so we don't have to grab that one. This bow... I mean, I know I was just complaining earlier about not having a source of ranged weaponry, but... let's see what it is, at least. Bad is what it is. And cursed. Great. Well, let's read our last... Cursed weapons are the most annoying because you can't... I mean, if you have 4 weapons to try out, you have to use 4 scrolls of Remove Curse. As opposed to armor where, you can just put on a bunch of different slots and have them all be cursed and zap the curse off them all at once. But whatever, I'm just sort of griping about nothing in particular. It's fine. I mean, we're not switching out equipment very frequently, so. Okay, I think that's it for elves. Another kind of long video, but it was fun sort of checking out our loot and whatnot. So I'll probably end it here and go back to the stash and maybe do a little bit of maintenance, figure out the optimal combination of rings and things. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.